friends, welcome to my channel. I'm so excited to be able to chat with you guys about makeup today. So I thought I'd start off with just a quick little video about some of my favorite palettes. So I've got 5 neutral palettes and 5 colorful palettes to talk about. And I have ranked them, but these are my top 5 in each category, so they're all gonna be awesome. So I think we'll start with neutral palettes. So in spot number 5, I have the Natasha Denona Safari palette. So that guy just looks like this. This is an all matte palette. It's fairly cool toned. It actually does have some sort of pops of color in here, like this blue up here. But overall, it's a fairly neutral palette, and I really, really like this one. It's amazing to create all matte looks, especially if you like that sort of all matte look for work or for a night out even. But it also works really good as a companion palette. I use it with a lot of my really special sort of single shadows, some of the more sparkles. So it's a really, really good palette for that. If you can snag this on sale, that's an excellent, excellent quality. It is one of her more expensive ones though, so not everybody feels like paying that much for makeup. In spot number 4, I have another expensive palette. This is the Charlotte Tilbury Quad. I have mine in Desert Haze. So again, this is in a little all matte palette. Try not to blind you there. I really, really like this one, and honestly, I don't know why I like this so much. It is very simple, it's very, very plain, but I just feel beautiful when I wear it, and every single time I reach into this palette, I know the look is going to be great. Again, can be a great, great matte palette or companion to some of the more sparkly shades. So this is a really, really good one. Again, I recommend getting them on sale because these little quads here in Canada are about $65, so that's a lot of money for 4 eyeshadows. In spot number 3, I have the Juvia's Place Warrior. This is the original Warrior. They now have 3, I think. And this was also my first Juvia's Place palette that I ever purchased. And honestly, I am in love with this brand. Juvia's Place quality is so, so good. This middle row here is perfect for just like a really quick, easy on-the-go eye look for my skin tone. But I definitely do love the fact that they've got some deeper shades and some deeper shimmer, so I can really spice it up if I want like an evening look. I really, really love this palette, and it's so affordable. I don't think there's anything quite as good in this price category as Juvia's Place. In spot number 2, I have a palette that really surprised me. This is the Huda Naughty Nude. And I actually wasn't even sure originally if I was going to pick this one up, but I was drawn in by the sort of almost purpley plummy tones that this guy has. I absolutely love, love, love this palette. And even actually this sort of gel topper down here, the shade Slippery. If you can get past the strange sort of consistency of it, it's quite sticky. It looks really beautiful on the eye, and this creates just some gorgeous looks. It can go really, really light for a nice neutral look. It can go quite deep if you want like a nice evening look. I think it's really suitable to a lot of skin tones as well. I've used it on some of my family and friends, and they really like it. So I think this is a fantastic neutral palette. And spot number 1 in my neutral palette is probably my favorite palette of all time, and that would be the Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam. I'm sure you've seen this one before. It is immensely popular, but I love this palette. And as someone who's a colorful eyeshadow lover, I use this palette a lot. I've used this palette for 2 different graduation photo shoots. I have used it for dates. I have used it to go to weddings. It is my go-to for special occasions because I know that no matter what look I do with this palette, it will be perfect. I love that you can go very, very light. I like that there's some deepening up shades. I like that it can go more yellowy gold. It can go more pink. Everything about this, I absolutely love it. Anastasia formula is insanely good. The mattes are super pigmented, very blendable. The shimmers have so much punch to them. I really, really love this palette, and I would say out of all of the neutral palettes that I have, if I could only keep one, this would be it. So now for colorful palettes. Personally, I've really been growing into colorful palettes lately. I absolutely love color. And I've been really excited to play around with it. So this has been a sort of growing collection for me. In number 5, I have another Juvia's Place palette. This is the Zulu palette. So that one looks like this. It's almost a rainbow palette, but not quite. I love this Zulu palette. I've heard a lot of influencers talk about how they don't love this palette, particularly they don't love this brown in here, but I actually do like that because I feel like you can go for more of a neutral look if you want to. And this sort of pinky gold duochrome down here is one of my favorite shades in my entire collection. I think this palette is absolutely stunning. It's just got some really beautiful colors. I can definitely make a whole look just with this palette, but I do often use it as a companion palette as well. In spot number 4, I have a great palette if you are a beginner to color and you're not quite sure where to start. This is the Natasha Denona Love palette, and so this was her Valentine's Day collection, I believe for 2020, if I'm not mistaken. This is limited edition, although it's still available, so I'm not sure how limited edition. But this is a really, really good palette, and at first I wasn't sure I was gonna pick this one up, but I ended up getting drawn in. I heard a lot of hype about it. I watched, I think Samantha March said it was her favorite palette of 2020. Angelica Nyqvist put it very high on her list, so I was like, okay, well I trust these ladies. I'm gonna grab it, and I'm so glad I did. It's so, so beautiful. This pink down here, I believe that's Intense, is just absolutely stunning on the eye. It's so, so pretty. It's got some of the more bold shades, like this red over here is a little bit more bold, but overall the palette leans sort of softer, so it's a good colorful option if you're not quite sure you're into color just yet. My third spot for my colorful palette is also one that is a great one if you're new to color, and that is the Huda Mercury Retrograde palette. Oh, I love the cover of this one. It's so beautiful. Oh, it's so beautiful. That one, it just looks like that inside. It's a little reflective, so I'm trying to show you without blinding you. So this is actually the only pastel palette really that I've kept in my collection that I haven't decluttered. Just because I tend to not love pastels on, but I actually really, really like these pastels. I love this blue. This is actually the palette I'm wearing on my eyes today. They're kind of obscured by my glasses, but I adore this palette. I really love the shimmers in here. I love it for spring. It's just, it just makes me think of like warm weather and flowers, and I absolutely love wearing it. It's just a stunning palette, but it's also very easy. If you're scared of color, this is a good one to try out too. In spot number 2 in my colorful collection, I actually put a palette that I debated putting in the neutrals because to me this is much more of a neutral palette, but since it is green toned, I did pop it in with the colors. This is the Colourpop The Child palette, their sort of Star Wars collaboration. Isn't that so cute? Oh, love it. And so that's what this guy looks like inside. So like I said, it is a neutral, colorful palette. It's got these sort of khaki kind of olivey colors in there, but it does also have this neutral color up here. So you can kind of go both ways with it. It's got a lot of options in there. I am obsessed with green eyeshadow lately. I love greens. I think they're so pretty. I think they work with so many different skin tones. I know Samantha March is also having a green moment right now. Greens are fantastic. So this has been so, so fun to play with. And in my opinion, this is one of the best quality Colourpop shadows or Colourpop palettes that they've come out with. And that's in a collaboration, which is pretty impressive. So I really, really like this one. My number 1 colorful palette of the moment, no surprise here, is the Club Nebula palette from Kaleidos and Angelica Nyqvist. This is amazing. Oh, look at those shades, look at it. Oh, it's just beautiful. I don't own anything in my collection that's like this. This is one of the most beautiful palettes I have ever seen. It's so well coordinated. All of the colors work well together. You can make so many different looks with it. I definitely think it can be a little intimidating, especially if you're not used to color. This green shade in the middle here, and this bright corally one down here. But it is actually very wearable, and it can pull a little more neutral if you want it to, these sort of taupey purples in the middle there. But you can make it go very bold, very blue, very red. It can go quite deep or it can stay quite light. And the shimmers and the toppers in here are just to die for. Kaleidos has announced that they are going to restock this in May, so if you missed the first launch and the restock, definitely don't sleep on this. This is a fantastic palette. I'd really love to hear what your guys' favorite palettes are. Leave me a comment, let me know what your favorite neutral and colorful palettes are, or what you think I should try. I would love to hear from you, and otherwise I will see you in my next video. Thanks, bye.